The core mission of the Kuwait Red Crescent Society centers around humanitarianism, guided by the principles of impartiality, neutrality, independence, voluntary service, unity, and universality. Its vision is to become a leading humanitarian organization, recognized for its commitment to alleviating human suffering, enhancing community resilience, and promoting a culture of humanitarian values. One of the most significant achievements of the Kuwait Red Crescent Society has been its steadfast commitment to disaster response and relief. Whether on a national or international scale, the organization has consistently been at the forefront of relief efforts. The Kuwait Red Crescent Society has been actively involved in disaster relief operations around the world. In addition, the Society operates numerous healthcare projects, including clinics and hospitals, to ensure access to medical service for underserved populations. These facilities have been invaluable in delivering medical aid during crises and emergencies, saving countless lives in the process. Education and awareness are fundamental aspects of the Kuwait Red Crescent Society's mission. Through campaigns and awareness programs on topics such as health, hygiene, and disaster preparedness, the organization empowers communities to build resilience against potential disasters. This educational outreach not only mitigates the impact of disasters, but also promotes a culture of preparedness and self reliance. The Society also excels in international collaboration. It actively works alongside other humanitarian organizations and governmental agencies to coordinate relief efforts. This collaborative approach ensures the efficient delivery of aid during crises, solidifying the organization's position as a significant player in international humanitarian operations. Moreover, one of the critical functions of the Red Crescent Society is its blood donation campaigns. By actively promoting blood donation, the organization contributes to the availability of blood supplies in Kuwait. These campaigns have saved countless lives and continue to play a crucial role in the country's healthcare system. The Kuwait Red Crescent Society's international recognition is also worth highlighting. As a member of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, it adheres to the Geneva Conventions and other international humanitarian laws. This recognition underscores its commitment to upholding the highest standards of humanitarian service. The Society actively encourages the participation of women and youth in its humanitarian activities. Women volunteers play a crucial role in various programs, from healthcare services to disaster response. Additionally, the organization promotes youth involvement through its youth committee, nurturing a sense of social responsibility among the younger generation.
Kuwait Red Crescent, established in 1966. It's around 57 years from that date, and since then we have helped over 100 countries around the world. Exactly, it's 105. We ended by Sudan, which we have sent 17 Air Force planes full with food, equipment, and things for the situation in Sudan. Before that, we were in Turkey, of course, for the biggest earthquake, what happened that killed many people, and a lot of people were outside their houses. Of course, we stayed there 1 month, and of course, with cooperation with the Turkish Red Crescent, and we have gone many places, giving food, equipment, furniture for the people who are affected. Before that, we were in Beirut for the big explosion in the port, and we have also helped the people there who was affected by renewing their houses, their furniture, giving food, and making giving medicine, and also renewing the hospitals there. Also in Yemen, we are working there daily until now for the hospitals and for the schools and for the food. In Iraq also we have done many things. What I mean is we are as Kuwait Red Crescent one of the fastest society that reaches the affected areas, either for the poor countries or the countries who have situations, crises like floods, earthquakes, dryness. We were there second day. Also the countries who are affected by war. We are helping the people who go out of their houses. What make Red Crescent is one of the humanitarian society that we reach there maybe second day after the situation happened. And this is all recorded in the United Nations This is what make Kuwait, state of Kuwait, is a humanitarian center in the world.
So the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society welcoming anyone who live in Kuwait, regardless their nationality, their religion, to be a volunteer here in the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society. The only requirement is they have to be 18 years and above. We only need their civil ID. After they registered here in the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society online, we're gonna make a specific courses for them. One of the courses is the first aid course. The second course is how to deal with the public. And also we teach them how to be a good leader. Because to be a volunteer is very important. Sometimes you're gonna be in a very tough situation and you have to make the right decision, because this decision might save a lot of people. And this is why we want to be sure here in the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society is you are eligible and you are capable to make a right decision. You could help other people. You really could contribute. And the good things here in the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society, if you have skills, like if you like to take photos in your camera, here we could use these skills to really make it useful in the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society.
These projects, of course, refer to the situation in the country. They write to us, their ambassador come here, and they tell us the situation. And of course, we are giving, we have donations either from the government normally and from the people. And we are working on this money to help these countries. We are working on making the women, teaching the women in other countries, and also for many countries we are teaching them or buying them equipment just to help themselves instead of giving money or food. We are buying, like what happened in tsunami, or in Vietnam now, we are buying big ships for them to again get back to life by, fishing and these things. This project stays more than bringing food or things, and it will finish. We are working on schools. In many countries, we are working on education outside Kuwait and inside Kuwait. Inside Kuwait, we'll speak about it. We have also 4,000 families here, and we are paying tuition for the schools for the people who cannot pay for tuition. Outside Kuwait also we are paying to a lot of refugees their tuition, and Kuwait normally, and Kuwait Red Crescent, maybe even in COVID, we are vaccinating the refugees, like what happened in Lebanon, which is no other country has did this. Now let's talk about Kuwait as the humanitarian office. Kuwait is known as a country. It's either, in spite of the size of Kuwait and the population of Kuwait, you find it on the map. It's one of the lovable country and one of the peaceful country that is sitting on the humanitarian chair, let's say. And this is what we hear from Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General, when he was saying to Sheikh Sabah, rahimahullah, that in spite of the country, the size of the country and the population, you are one or number one in humanitarian, and this is make us proud in Kuwait. And we hope that we can continue this.
I probably could share with you a few stories here. I went to the Bangladesh back in 2018 to help the Rohingyas refugees. And the Rohingyas refugees really suffered a lot. And they really need a lot of support. They need equipment, medical equipment. They need food. They need immunization. And I went there for a week, and to be sure that we deliver all the food and all the equipment to the right people, I saw a child who really need a kidney surgery. And without the surgery, he would not, or he could not live. And I asked the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society if we really could help and support this child to do the surgery. And immediately I get the response is absolutely go ahead. And we support the cost of the surgery and we help the child. And it's very important. And you really be happy when you help people and make other human life it's happy, and he could live his life, and he could have his family, and he could has his job, and could support each other. And this is the beauty of the human work is we have to help each other, regardless what is your religion, what is your background, what is your color. Now we have to help each other to become a better world, and this is one of the really major story. I have another story when I went to Lebanon after the earthquake. The same scenario that I found a person who really need a surgery for his hearing after the explosion. The sound was really massive, and it's hurt his hearing. He's almost gonna lose his hearing, and we actually support the cost to help him to restore his hearing, and he is actually being a normal human back. And this is actually one of the great story, great impact that affected my life, and it's important for me to continue doing this volunteering job.
As a global humanitarian organization that provides support around the world, the Kuwait Red Crescent Society had an active role in Turkey. In response to the devastating earthquake that struck Turkey, the Kuwait Red Crescent Society swiftly mobilized humanitarian efforts to assist the affected communities. The Society provided vital relief and support to earthquake victims, demonstrating its commitment to international humanitarian solidarity. The immediate response included the distribution of emergency relief supplies, such as mobile supplies, food, blankets, tents, and firefighters to aid in the search and rescue efforts. Additionally, the Society worked in coordination with local authorities to assess the damage and prioritize assistance to the most vulnerable populations. Within the context of the Syrian refugee crisis, the Kuwait Red Crescent Society has played a critical role in alleviating the suffering of displaced Syrians. The organization has been actively engaged in providing comprehensive support to refugee camps in Syria and neighboring countries. The Kuwait Red Crescent Society's assistance to these camps encompasses various facets of humanitarian aid. This includes the provision of shelter, hygiene kits, and education materials to families in the camps. Moreover, the organization has established healthcare facilities and mobile medical units, offering essential medical care to both refugees and the host communities. In these critical situations, the Kuwait Red Crescent Society continues to demonstrate its commitment to humanitarian values by offering support, care, and hope to those affected by natural disasters and the ongoing refugee crisis in Syria.
Any country we go, we deal with the Red Crescent or Red Crescent or Red Cross, this country. So wherever we move with them. So everything is arranged. Thank you also for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs who help us in doing these relations, and thank you also for the Air Force that carries our things to affected countries. Of course, our volunteers are ready to go anywhere, and we don't have any difficulties in these things. The most difficult that we have in the earthquake, because when we are there, we don't know when it will happen. Otherwise, everything is okay.
And I went to the refugees, the Syrian refugees, and you see the children over there, between 6 to 12 years old, boys and girls. And usually when I go to a trip like this, I usually have a candy with me. And you could not believe how much they are happy to see the candy with me. They actually asking me to give them the candy, even though it's a candy probably not costing anything. But for them, it's a huge to have this candy. They could see my Kuwaiti red flag. They ask me, which kind of country? You belong to which country? I tell them I'm a Kuwaiti. And they ask me to, they thank me for this gift. They thank the government. They thank the people that really supporting this kind of activity. Also, there is a really major activity that the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society have made in Jordan in the one of the camps for the Syrian, that we build a school for the children. It was elementary as well as a middle school. And you know, in these regions, they really lack the education, and education is very important, especially these days. If the kids did not get the right education, writing, reading, probably could be Arabic or English, math, science, and this is a very important subject. And without education, probably it's very hard to get a job. And it was really interesting to open this kind of school over there, see the impact, especially for the long-term impact. When you teach your children how to read, how to write Arabic, and this is probably could give them a motivation to continue their education. Probably these kids someday could be a major influencers for other people. They could continue their education getting by or obtaining their master's degree, PhD. There could be a doctors, and they could go back home and they could help their society, or they could help other people, because they actually felt how to be in need. And these kind of people, when they felt this way, they went through all the major sequence of the problems, and they actually could give back for people who actually help them. For my experience, yes, I actually been in touch with many like students who've been in the middle school, and we actually that's back 12 years ago. And here in the Kuwait Red Crescent Society, we tried, and I actually personally, to see their progress in their school, and we want to be sure they got a good grade. And when they get a good grade, we're going to continue supporting their tuition to continue their education. And I have a really few successful stories for students who actually getting their bachelor degree, and they getting a job, and they could support their families. And this is a really good feeling when you really do this kind of things. It's amazing. In the medical supply, it's a very important, and it's a right for every human to have a medical solution, or if they have any problem, if they have any sickness, if they need it to seek a medical scenario, they should get their medication. And unfortunately, many families in a lot of varieties of countries, they don't have the medical supplies. And the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society plays really major role in this regard, cooperating with the Ministry of Health, that we try to connect with hospitals in a specific countries, or the mirror society, for example, the Red Crescent Society in Sudan, let's say. We contact with them and we ask them which kind of medication they need. They actually give us a list of medication, and we contact with the Ministry of Health. We want to be ensured that we supply as much as we could of this medication to the families, because many families, they don't have the medication, and we want to be sure that they could get this right medication, they could get cured, and they could live normally, and we could really ease their situation.
A delegation of Kuwait Red Crescent Society visited Palestine to inaugurate 16 commercial stores in Jerusalem's Old Sector. Renovation of these stores ended 3 months ago. The work was supported by the Kuwait Chamber of Industry and Commerce with Kuwait Red Crescent Society's supervision and execution by Wafa Foundation for Development. The stores are located in the Butcher's Market in Jerusalem's Old Sector, where the occupiers sought to force the Palestinian residents to abandon their properties and flee. Hussein Al-Tawne, Wafa's Director General, said that the Kuwaiti aid is necessary to help the Palestinians hold their properties and maintain their presence in the city. The Kuwaiti delegation started a tour in the city's ancient sectors at Bab al-Amud, listening to merchants' complaints, visiting Al-Waqf Authority, hospital of the local Red Crescent, and Al-Aqsa Mosque. A member of the board of directors of the Kuwait Red Crescent Society, Dr. Khalid Sabih, said that Kuwaiti projects in Palestine now are qualitative projects and projects by individuals and institutions. Al-Sabih added that the Kuwait Red Crescent Society is the voluntary arm of the government and people of Kuwait, and what they are doing is a translation of the directives of the political leadership in Kuwait not to skimp on any charitable project that benefits the Palestinian people. Al-Sabih pointed that the Kuwait Red Crescent Society received donations from individuals and private institutions as well, and this indicates that the Palestinian people are in the heart and conscience of all Kuwaitis, and that the Kuwaiti government, people, and individuals were, are, and will remain supportive of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian cause.
Regarding Palestine, of course, we go to Gaza through Rafah, and we always give this food, and we give ambulance cars for them, and we are meeting them in the conference. Also, lately we have gone to Jerusalem, and we have renewing 17 shops, old shops, and we are next to, and we are doing also the rest of the shops there. So we are always with Jerusalem, we are always with Palestine, either by going there or by cooperating with the Palestinian Red Crescent. What I remember about the help or for Kuwait Red Crescent in other countries, a story when we went to Gaza. There was a school and we were distributing school bags for them. And I remember one of the kids were there, she was carrying her mother bag. And when I asked her why, she said we were bombed, and of course we left everything in the house. This story, of course, affected us. Other countries, like in Africa, other countries like in Yemen, like in Iraq, like in Rohingya. When we went to Rohingya, we see people without shoes, without anything. You can imagine 1 million people that you have to feed them every day, morning, afternoon, and the night. No hospitals, nothing. And we have built a small hospital with Qatar Red Crescent, and we are trying to build houses for them, and we started with the situation. When we come back, of course, we discuss these things, and we ask donators also to give us, and we ask the government, and always we have a positive idea. Now Kuwait, as I said, it's a country that everybody love here, either the other nations, other presidents, always make donations, projects in Kuwait. Kuwait have given 1,300,000,000 for the Syrian situation, and it gave 2 billion for Iraq rebuilding, and for Yemen, and for Somalia, and for everything. What I am saying that Kuwait is a humanitarian country with all the aspects, all the letters, because I'm working in this field, and I notice when we go to other countries, they welcome us and they ask us, and they always say, you are #1 country who reach us even before our native people. And we hope this will last.
So my trip to Turkey was a very important trip for me. That was back in 2022, last year. We went there after the major earthquake that hit Turkey. More than 30,000 people have been killed after the earthquake. And our role in the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society is to deliver a lot of medication as well as support. We deliver food for them because many people, their houses has been destroyed after the earthquake. We, 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 went, we went there with five volunteers with me, and we stayed there 2 weeks. And every day we wake up in the morning, early morning, to deliver the food and supplies to people who are in need. And the hard part is to really find the people who are really affected and to distinguish which families who really need more food, who need more support. And this is why our role is to be sure that we deliver all the equipment, all the right food for them to be sure that they could eat, they could survive. And also we have a really a big role in socially. We have to sit with the families who have been really lost one of their families with the earthquake. Probably have many advices. Is one of them is being a volunteer. If you are capable to be a volunteer, if you have the time, if you have a spare time, it will be our pleasure to be a volunteer here at the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society. And you could use your time, you could use your effort in something good that you could help other people. There are many studies recently have been published the impact of the volunteer job by reducing the depression, and probably because helping other people without asking them back any reward or anything, this is huge, and that's actually gonna make you as a normal human. This will make our society developed, and actually this is kind of one of the sign of the developed society is how volunteer job in the society itself. uh, do your best, help other people. By helping each other, we're gonna develop a lot. We're gonna be a better society, and this is actually what we need these days. When I went overseas or international to help other people, I realized how much we are gifted, how much yani, we thanks God for all the the gifts that we have. You know, it's I could go to the supermarket and I could buy anything that I want, and this is a gift. And when I see the value of this gift, I thanks God for this gift. I really try to keep it. I try to use it wisely. And this is why something probably many people they don't realize how many gifts they have until they see other people or when they lose these gifts. Hopefully nobody lose any gifts or things like that. But when you see other people who do not have this gift, like example like security, now we are grateful to have security here. We are grateful to have food who could really supply everybody here in this country. This is something really valuable, and it teaches you how much it's important to really to save this kind of kids, to save this kind of gifts, to save this kind of food, and to thank for the health that we have. If you see other people, if you go to the hospital to see sick people, and this is actually one of the activity here, what we do in the Kuwaiti Red Crescent Society, that we go to the hospital to give them some gifts to make them happy, at least for children. And when you see this, people who are sick, people who are in need, you find out how much is valuable, how much you are gifted, and you always, in every moment, you thanks God for all these gifts.
The Kuwait Red Crescent Society stands as a shining example of humanitarian service, both domestically and internationally. Founded in 1966, The Kuwait Red Crescent Society is an integral part of the global Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, a network of humanitarian organizations committed to alleviating human suffering.